Almas bonitas. There is a lot of misunderstanding as to why darkness is hated, manipulated, misunderstood, and a lot of times suggested that every dark entity, every dark force out there is just going to agree to do bad things, like being used or take part in certain damaging activities or death forces, death magic, death witchcraft, death spells, binding, all these things. While this is also true, some dark energies have indeed been highly corrupted or wrongly manipulated. That's not the case for all dark beings, all dark entities. That's not true. Most dark entities that are well known, such as Hell, the Fenrir, Hecate, Lilith, a lot of these dark entities of ancient descendants, they don't really just agree like that on doing damage to the innocent. That's not only a lie, it is also a lie that most people simply choose to believe. When someone is not honest with themselves, they create lies. They are so used to creating lies and live through lies that they believe these inner thoughts that they create. I am going to give a very simple yet very clear example for this to be understood, and do my best to stop this misunderstanding among the collective, and especially for those who do dark magic, but not necessarily to destroy, not necessarily to cause damage, because I work a lot with darkness, but not to destroy. Only those who are foolish enough to come after the sacred deserve to be destroyed. Only they deserve to feel the pain that they have caused. Otherwise, there will never be a chance to learn to expand and evolve. Practitioners would always be stuck if they never had a lesson. Okay, so let's see. Picture this, which is also a reality. An inner child of darkness, an inner child who possesses the capacity, let's just say, of the dark ones, such as Lucifer, Lilith, Hecate. All of these are parental figures in the underworld. These are not necessarily bad entities. It depends on you. What are you doing with that kind of ability, that kind of practice? For example, if I ever meet Lucifer, I don't fear him, mainly because I have done nothing wrong. I have no reason to be afraid of him. I don't care if he's strong or not, young or old, ugly or beautiful. That's entirely up to him. Why entirely up to him? Because he was not born yesterday and he can appear as whatever he sees fit. He can appear as something beautiful or something ugly. That's up to him. It's not for me to judge, nor it is it for me to pay any attention or waste any energy or time with it. That's the way I actually go with the celestials and with demons because I work with both at the very same time. Now, the point is that you have to picture this, which is a reality right now. Hecate has been healing an inner child of darkness. Now, this inner child is not exactly only a demon, and is not just celestial. This inner child, this child of sacred uh, abilities, possesses the blueprint for both darkness and the light. And the most hidden truth, it possesses something else that is beyond light and darkness. But we are not going to reveal that part here. Now, this child was born, his physical vessel was born in a karmic, very diabolical, dysfunctional family. Therefore, there was no chance to be a child for that vessel. There was no chance to be a teenager. And he was being attacked ever since he was in the womb of his mother. Now, for someone, for an entity to take such a huge and complicated role, whether it be it in the celestial realms or the underworld, it is a very high hygiene type of sacrifice, let's just say, because to give life is the pinnacle of power. You have to be in your best condition in order to birth a child. But when that child gets sick, when that child is wounded, it's even more complicated. It's more difficult because now you don't just nurture a child, you have to heal it. You have to provide psychological, emotional support. It's not just providing for them other things, other basic things. This has been happening now for quite a while. And all of a sudden, here comes Mr. Foolish and Mrs. Foolish to attack this child. Now, when someone is foolish enough to come and do that, with actions, you are telling this entity that her support, her work, her sacrifice is meaningless. Because they dare ask for information on how to turn everything to reverse all the work that she's been doing on this child. Instead of life-giving energy, how that could turn into death energy. Instead of looking beautiful, how could this inner child look grotesque? Instead of sun energy, how it could turn into rot energy, decaying energy. Now, what do you think Hecate is going to do after that? Obviously, you're disrespecting that child, you're disrespecting her because all of her work, all of her efforts, you are rendering it meaningless. You are rendering it as a something with no value. Therefore, she's obligated to stand up for that child because by this point, darkness is always by nature highly protective. But when that kind of bond has been created with a child and a parental figure of such, she's not going to be angry. She's going to be furious. And she has every bit of reason to be. And she's going to stand up. She's going to do something about it. She has no choice at this point. Because her boundaries have been crossed, her efforts and sacrifices have been rendered meaningless. This is not just disrespect. This is death energy already. Someone has to die at this point. This is one of the reasons where darkness gets a reputation. But here's the thing that humanity is failing at, including the celestials sometimes, including these dark practitioners. You only see yourselves as victims, but you don't recognize your faults. And that's where the world is wrong at. Anyone, any mother, any father who has a child will do the same thing. They have every reason to do so. They don't even need to explain the reasons. You don't need explanations to react like that when it is your child, your work, your value that is being rendered meaningless and undervalued. Now, this goes with every other force out there. With this, I should also explain one of the biggest lies that humanity and dark practitioners believe it, and they create this illusion so strong that they believe it to be their truth, but it's false. It is not your truth. It is an illusory kind of truth that you have created. Beings such as Hell and the Fenrir, Cerberus, and many other beings of darkness, pure potential, could not be. Oh, yes, Loki is one of the ones I should not forget in this example, because he's very loving, he's very protective, he's a genius. But because of his own nature, everyone thinks of him as someone who's not right in the head and someone who should not be trusted. But that is also an illusion, because only those who go to sleep and wake up planning to hurt others are the only ones who should never be trusted. Loki is not like that. The Fenrir is not like that. Cerberus is not like that either. Now, the Fenrir could not be controlled even by gods, because not only is he strong, he was born knowing the infinite potential within his being. Pure darkness is pure potential. You do not come and disrespect that kind of purity without consequences. You will suffer the consequences no matter who you are, what you are, how small or how big you are. You have to suffer the consequences because what you are disrespecting, rendering meaningless, or trying to project and control, manipulate, this by nature going to fight back. It's just an elemental force that instinctively and consciously and unconsciously going to fight back. That's what these entities are, each and every one of them. That includes the fallen angels and many, many others whom I would not finish today if I named them all. Not every dark entity out there is highly destructive and deserving of distrust and be manipulated and that sort of things. So don't just go around thinking like everyone else, and don't engage into controlling, manipulating darkness without thinking that there is not going to be a price to pay for. That is an element that is beyond comprehension of humanity, beyond the comprehension of even many demons. And there is consequences, especially if these entities now belong to a certain unity, like the one with the guardian of the light and consciousness now. These entities are constantly evolving and recovering memories of their ancient lineage. Not only are these ones stronger and smarter every day, they know what you are trying to do the moment you invade their space. They are reading your every thought, your every intention, and your very soul. They know exactly what you are without saying a single word. So perhaps the best thing to do is to forget everything that you have learned and learn again. But this time, try to learn the truth. Forget about what you have read in books, Bibles, and what other practitioners have told you, because it is most likely fake gene illusions or fake illusions, call it whatever you want, and it's going to lead you to your own destruction. Because this person who are attacking this inner child now and rendering meaningless the all the effort of one of the elders, because Hecate was not born yesterday, and she's not going to just stand by and do nothing. Whoever comes and messes with that, I don't think they're going to make it. And if they do make it, it's going to be a very, very painful lesson. It's sad, it is, because I know what it is, what it feels like, and what it is like to be wounded and be afraid to heal ourselves. Because when you have to heal your inner child, we're talking about the most vulnerable part of a soul. So that's not easy. That is very painful. That is very difficult, very scary, but it needs to be done. And you don't want to do this work. That's why you go around and hurting others, and even there to hurt others' inner child. That's going to lead to your total destruction, not just physically. That could lead to your destruction of your very soul. Because what you're doing is touching someone, a sacred child, who possesses the blueprint of all that was, is, and will be. This is not a game. This is very serious. Most of hell will rise up for this one. And most celestial beings would also rise for this one, because it's very serious. It's not every day that a child with that kind of capacity rises up and decides to help creation. This is a lineage that existed way before the first shadow emerged, way before the first light was created. And most of the ones of this lineage refuse to play any part with the rise and the fall of all of creation. So the fact that this in this very time they have this child is something that may never come again. And here comes Mr. Foolish and try and destroy that. Yeah, that could end up in the total and absolute destruction of your entire lineage. Because demons and angels could rise up. They know what's at stake, and if they lose this child, they may never get another one ever again. because this lineage, most of them want nothing to do with creation, with gods or demons or any of that sort. They are the ones with the blueprint of how the gods were created, of both, of demons and the light, the celestials and the ones of the underworld. But they don't play part in it. The fact that now you have one of this lineage, if you don't protect that, if you don't take care of that, let's just say that you are putting at stake the entire fate, the entire destiny of all creation, from the lowest rung to the highest dimension. There are so many practitioners out here in this 3D, but you haven't been able to see that? How is that possible? The guardian of the universe is someone who doesn't have to do anything for energies to respond and act with his own will and focused intentions. That's not as something energies will respond to for gods or demons. Clearly, this is a lineage that is beyond that. The frequencies, the energies of life and death respond with a single thought, a single intention. That is not the power of a god. That is not the power of a demon. That is the power of the one with the blueprint of gods and demons. And it is time that humanity and the warriors start remembering that. And you have a once in one chance, because there may never be another one of this line, of this particular lineage, to say, I will help, I will go through all the pain the world puts on me, all of the projection, the hate, the death magic, suffer through all this pain and suffering and crushing, soul crushing pain, to help creation, to help the gods, to help the universes remember their truth. And here comes Mr. Foolish trying to destroy that. What do you think is going to happen? Cruel as it may sound, you run the risk of being destroying your own bloodline completely. That's how foolish humanity has been. That's how foolish all these secret societies, governments have been. What you're putting at risk is something that you will never understand. Because this is a world of fools and you are just another fool. But with this kind of actions, even that is a little bit too much for you. Either you learn to save yourselves or you destroy yourselves in the process. It's up to you. You may make your choice.